Novembre di 5 anni fa, una band inglese formata da 4 ragazzi giovanissimi appena usciti dall'università fa il loro ingresso negli studi di MTV Sonic qui a Milano. Hanno un grandissimo sogno, quello di regalare qualcosa di grande al mondo della musica pop. In quel periodo in classifica il rock classico di U2, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Lenny Kravitz e di una band tra rap e rock dal nome Limp Bizkit proveniente dagli Stati Uniti. Ma a parte l'apparizione in classifica di un album meraviglioso come Kid A dei Radiohead, nessuno aveva ancora ascoltato profondamente quel pop rock dall'animo intimista e profondamente emozionale e indipendente che i Coldplay erano pronti a regalare. Io li ho incontrati a Milano il giorno del compleanno del loro bassista Guy Berryman, naturalmente prima dell'uscita del loro nuovissimo album X and Y.
Coldplay, nice to see you.
Hi.
Johnny Buckland, Chris Martin, Will Champion, and Guy Berryman. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I was looking forward to have this chat with you today, so it's fantastic to have you here now. Okay, while I was writing the interview, I was thinking that the third album, X and Y, usually in the history of music, is the album which defines the sound of a band. So I was thinking about like, okay, Computer for Radiohead, or London Calling for The Clash, or War for U2. So will this album define Coldplay's sound?
Well, I think we've tried as hard as possible to make it define our sound. You know, it's definitely defining our sound at the moment. You know, we're very proud of it. You know, we don't really have any perspective on it in terms of whether it's good or not. But what we do know is that we tried everything possible to make it as great as possible. Do you know what I mean?
And also
Perfectly, yeah, Guy.
you know, we're able to say that those third albums were their definitive albums because we've got the benefit of time to have, you know, to have sort of seen what they did since then. So I don't think, you know, we could really answer a question like that without sort of
It's too early to
looking
say.
back. It's hard to be objective about it.
Yeah, maybe like in a future then we'll answer to
Maybe
that
in
question.
2020
All right.
we can tell you that it was our definitive album.
Okay.
It's definitely not shit.
No, it's not.
I can say that.
Are you happy with that?
I'm happy to say it's not shit.
Good.
Yeah. Can we
So-
say that on MTV in Italy? I mean, they can just translate it.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure you can.
Okay.
I read somewhere that this time, when you arrived at the recording studio, you just not like musical ideas, which is like kind of normal, but you like brought like emotions and feelings. Is that what the album is made of, Johnny?
Well, I mean, all of our songs that we've ever released, we've tried to make as emotionally honest and as tuneful as possible. So in that sense, it didn't really change. I mean, obviously we brought our feelings because we can't really leave anything at home. I think it's important that they mean something to us, for them to mean something to anyone else.
Whenever we try and write a song which is cool, or whenever we try and do anything that's ironic, or you know, whenever we try and write about some character, it's always terrible. And Will in particular, he just doesn't let me write any lyrics that aren't, you know, true to my life. You know, he would never accept Ziggy Stardust.
No.
You know.
Unless you took on the role of a
spaceman.
yeah, you wear the costume and
You know, I think. Yeah, it was very hard for us to do anything cool.
And I really enjoyed the Ghost track.
The Ghost track, yeah.
It reminds me, I don't know, like of kind of Nick Drake or even Johnny Cash, but something very simple, not produced in a way, no?
Yeah, it's very funny because it's supposed to be the secret track, but everybody knows about it, and everybody's asking us about it.
Oh, really?
And so people are going to be very confused because it's not written on the artwork. But that song actually was written for Johnny Cash, but he never recorded it. So we recorded it instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How come? No, explain this to me.
Well, it was he was looking for songs for a fifth album that he was doing with Rick Rubin.
Yes.
And so Chris wrote a song and played it to Rick Rubin, who liked it. And I think, did you actually record a version?
Yeah.
Chris recorded his vocal and a guitar, and they were going to play it to Johnny Cash and get him to sing on it, and he was going to put it on the record, but sadly he passed away before he had the chance to. So we wanted to put it on our record, and
and almost like a kind of tribute to him.
It's a tribute to Johnny Cash.
It makes me so happy because I was thinking about Johnny Cash, but I didn't know that.
No, it's
So
also
it's like-
it's important for us to have a tiny element of country music on every album because partly for our parents, particularly my dad, so that they can have something to enjoy on a Coldplay record.
So he can be proud of you.
So he can be proud.
It seems like you're looking for formulas, searching for solutions, like even the title of the album. Did you find any?
No, I think the interesting thing about life is, to us, the older we get, we're not even that old, is that there seem to be less and less answers. And
That's true, kind of.
that's pretty true.
Point is that sometimes there are things that you have no explanation for, and that's why life is fun.
Yeah, that's exactly. It sounds very pessimistic when we're saying, "Oh, there's no answers to anything." But once you appreciate that there's no answers to anything, then you can just enjoy everything because
That's
you know you're never going to know everything. So you may as well enjoy what you can while you can. That's why the album's called X and Y, is because it's about opposites and about extremes. And if you're feeling really pessimistic, you can always remember that there's always optimism as well.
Did you buy any new instrument with the first money earned?
You're asking the right person. I think I bought one of everything ever made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, for example, what?
Everything.
Name anything, and Guy's got 4 of them.
I got sort of addicted to eBay.
Did you move? You changed your house too?
In order to fit all your equipment.
No, but I could do with doing it now. I could do with moving.
Oh, good.
In fact, most of the stuff I buy it doesn't even get turned on. You know? I don't have time to.
The feeling of buying.
I know. I just like collect. You know, I've always collect in the same way as I collect old records. I'm interested in how those old records were made, and so for me, buying an old synthesizer it's just like I'm like a sort of collector of geeky things like that.
It's research though, man. You know, to be fair, if you didn't buy all that stuff and research it, we wouldn't have half the sounds we're using, and you know, the 3 of us would sound pretty terrible. So it's important to have a shopper in the band.
What about you, Johnny? What do you do?
What do you bring to the band?
Yeah, what do?
No, I'm not really sure. I think they just let me hang around.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Dopo aver venduto 17 milioni di copie, essere costantemente sotto i riflettori e protagonisti della curiosità, a volte anche morbosa, del pubblico e degli addetti ai lavori, tutto ciò che è veramente affascinante riguardo le Coldplay è che tutto questo non ha minimamente cambiato lo spirito che li animava quando erano appena usciti dall'università e che li anima tuttora. Sono davvero rimasti dei ragazzi con i piedi per terra ed è questo a renderli davvero speciali. Ve ne renderete conto anche durante l'intervista che seguirà dopo il break, dove parleremo del loro impegno sociale, soprattutto per quanto riguarda la campagna del mercato eco e solidale. Dopo vi faremo vedere anche l'estratto della loro primissima intervista con MTV Italia e poi adesso il video The Scientist. Fare questo video è costato a Chris Martin un allenamento di duro lavoro di 1 mese per imparare a cantare la canzone tutta al contrario. E bentornati allo special sui Coldplay. La campagna internazionale per un commercio equo e solidale, così fortemente ed emozionalmente sostenuta da Coldplay, in Italia è portata avanti da Transfer. Lo scopo è quello di distribuire in modo più equo le risorse e soprattutto di mettere la parola fine allo sfruttamento e al gioco nei confronti dei contadini e di tutti i lavoratori del sud del mondo. I Coldplay hanno da sempre sostenuto questa campagna e non c'è stata nessuna intervista e nessuna apparizione pubblica nella quale non ne abbiano assolutamente parlato, con il cuore aperto. Chris Martin ha perfino viaggiato in Ghana e a Haiti per conoscere personalmente le persone per le quali sta lottando.
The thing with fair trade is really just to make it as famous a phrase as possible, so that 15-year-old kids know the words fair trade, and maybe their parents will hear it, and maybe that parent is the head of Nestle, and the head of Nestle suddenly thinks, well, what's this fair trade? Maybe we should have a look at how we do our business, you know. I think when these things creep into society, things start to change because the people that can change them think that everyone else cares about it. The ideal world would be when everything is just fair trade automatically. You don't even have to think about it.
That's true.
That's our dream.
I was thinking that sometimes, like because with your second album you became so big, that's fantastic, but sometimes like the risk is that a band can lose intimacy, like the nice, which is kind of paradoxical because you struggle together since something good it happens, and then when it happens the risk is like to lose the intimacy. So how important is for you still Coldplay, like for example Johnny, to play together, like rehearsing?
Well,
Like,
it was very important to us, but it took us a long time to realise that while recording the album. When we finished touring in Mexico in 2003, we hadn't really stopped moving around and being obsessive about the band for 5 or 6 years. And so then when we came back to London to start recording, we needed some time at home with our friends and families to see them again. So we lost the single-minded focus that that we once had. And then we had a while of that, and then realised that we weren't enjoying the music as much as we were. So we realised that then we had to go back into the rehearsal room and be totally focused on making the album.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
The simple fact is that in order for Coldplay to sound good, we have to work very hard. It doesn't come, we're not geniuses. It doesn't come that easily. We have to really work hard at it. And also, when we got to a certain level of success, you can find that naturally you start to get pulled apart a little bit as people, because you have so many assistants and managers and crew, and you're all doing different interviews, and you stop seeing so much of each other. So after about 8 months of recording, we were wondering why we weren't enjoying it so much, and also why we weren't as stressed as normal. So we realised that we hadn't locked ourselves in a room, just the four of us. So we did that, and as soon as we went back into a tiny room, just the four people, then everything started to become more intense and extreme again, and it became much more enjoyable but also much more stressful. And then we knew we were on the right path, because we discovered that thing that we had right at the beginning of our band.
it's so important to have that spirit always like inside you.
But you need to be reminded all the time, even though we're saying it to you now, it seems so obvious. But at the time we kind of just forgotten. We maybe relied too heavily on this person or that person. Really, the only people that can do Coldplay stuff is the four of us. And,
Certo.
the time we feel most like a band is when it's just the four of us in a room. And we were doing that before anybody was interested. So, when we haven't played really live for 2 years, we've played some small shows, but we don't think of ourselves as being a big band. And especially when someone says, talking about America, we feel like every album is its own thing, and our last album was big in America, but it doesn't mean anyone cares now.
Certo.
We have to prove ourselves all over again, everywhere. In Italy and in Spain and in America and in England.
Especially in France.
Especially in France. They hate us in France. We're a very small band in France. I think they can't deal with the fact that we're all so handsome.
Do you think so?
I think that's a problem, yeah.
Well, come on.
I'm joking.
Good.
They can't deal with the fact that we're all so ugly. Anyway, next question, I'm sorry.
Okay. UN Millennium Campaign and MTV Italy supporting this campaign, like to get rid of extreme poverty by 2015. Do you imagine inside yourself that this can be possible?
Unless our generation does become more concerned, it will just come back to haunt us all, it really will. And that's why sometimes it's frustrating for us to see, maybe the generation above us, in politics, they're very nationalistic and very isolated and very blinkered in their vision. It's especially if you're a band and you travel everywhere very easily, it's frustrating to see people just care about their one little place.
I guess you've got a responsibility in a way, because you can reach a lot of people, and it's so beautiful when you can really do something. But the thing is that we have to start from ourselves.
Yeah.
like testify with our own lives what we can do.
The fair trade or transfer thing is so important to us, and it really drives a lot of what we do because we feel like it's such a crucial issue. We don't just mean that in terms of being philanthropic, we mean it selfishly as well, because you know, we can see how our generation and the next generation could be really badly affected, you know, if world economics keeps going the way it is. You know, it sounds very boring to talk about, but it's so important to everybody's existence, because we all live on the same piece of rock.
Exactly.
And you know, when we're in school, no one really tells us that Africa is a real place that you can actually go to. You know, it just seems like another planet. So the reason why we got involved in fair trade was partly because we thought it was such a terrible problem, but also because we thought it was such an easy solution. So we really feel like something can be done. Now, we don't feel we can do anything ourselves. We're not politicians and we don't have any power, but we just look at the way that famous people advertise products, and we thought, well, maybe we could, instead of advertising Pepsi, we could advertise fair trade as an idea. And so that's what we're trying to do.
What do you think in general of people that sell songs to advertising?
I don't know, there seems to be no integrity involved with giving a song. Basically, we're not gaining anything out of it with money, which, you know, we're not gaining any artistic credibility from letting BT flog their product from our songs.
If they'd offered us £200,000,
You would accept?
yeah.
Oh, I know the point now, what it is.
Or 10 million, we'll do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll open McDonald's.
Quando questa intervista è stata filmata nel novembre del 2000, i Coldplay avevano appena rifiutato un'offerta fatta loro da una società di telefonia inglese per l'utilizzo di una loro canzone per una pubblicità di 100.000 sterline, corrispondenti più o meno a 150.000 euro. Chris aveva replicato che per quella cifra non avrebbe mai compromesso gli ideali della band, ma che forse soltanto per 10 milioni di sterline avrebbe fatto qualsiasi cosa. Ebbene, a 5 anni di distanza e soltanto qualche settimana fa, i Coldplay sono entrati nella classifica dei giovani inglesi più ricchi, con un capitale pro capite di 10 milioni di sterline, quella cifra che solo 5 anni fa gli sembrava assolutamente impossibile e per la quale avrebbero fatto qualsiasi cosa. Ebbene, non hanno dovuto compromettere i loro ideali, ma hanno raggiunto questa cifra facendo la cosa che gli viene più naturale, fare delle gran belle canzoni. Bravi Coldplay.
Well, thanks very much.
Hey,
I really
thanks a lot.
appreciate
It was a great interview. Thank you very much.
So you just take care and keep on being so special. We need special people in this world.
You know, if you knew us really very well, you would understand that we're not special at all. But thanks for saying it anyway.